How you doing, Scorpio? Go ahead and start off with this Celtic Cross for you. Celtic Cross for Scorpio. Messages for Scorpio. For those that need to hear it. Balance. So this is also temperance. You feel emotionally balanced, or maybe there's a need to be more emotionally balanced, temperate in your emotions and your energies and your actions. This is also being able to let go of control and going with the flow. Because it's the need for control that really brings the frustration and irritability. But you're feeling balanced. You're feeling at your core. You're like connected to your core right now, and I like that. What's your main issue? Immediate challenge. 8 of Stones. Skill. Trying to build skill, effort, trying to put in effort and build skill in your craft, becoming better every day, but that's your challenge. Maybe it's not putting the work in. Maybe it's not being able to put the work in. Maybe you are trying to balance everything out and there's a need for more balance. Maybe you can't even find the time to work on your skill or the things that you want, that you're really drawn to do, and maybe that's what brings the frustration as well. Maybe there's not putting enough work in. Maybe because there's a lack of time or a lack of resources to be able to do that. Your foundation, the causes of the situation, your physical and emotional needs, plus your subconscious desires. That's the Great Bear, 20. This is Judgment. You made a final decision about something. And whether it was a choice to go for a career path or towards a goal or towards some kind of schooling or work, and I feel it is some kind of work or some kind of endeavor, tangible endeavor, you decided to put a final judgment on it and you're trying to build skill and put the work in on it. But you're having trouble balancing everything in order to do so. The past, what is behind you, your creative talents and abilities, is the 4 of Stones, protection. You're trying to protect yourself from outside energies and entities. Perhaps you've had to protect yourself from people who have took a lot of your time and energy. And whether it is responsibilities as in children now, and or like maybe a lot of family member, or like a a job or a career that just expected way too much of you, that it started to deplete you because you weren't getting enough back in return. You decided to enact boundaries, build a skill of learning how to protect yourself and conserving your own energy for your own endeavors, but you're still having issues. Maybe there's a lot of issues that's coming up right now. It's Mercury retrograde. You know, so maybe there's like a lot of conflicts that are coming in, a lot of unplanned like situations and accidents, people coming around who expects your energy in some kind of way, or needs your energy in some kind of way. But it looks like you made a final decision to finally try to balance out your life and put the skill into something that actually made you happy. And you learned how to be in better command of your own energy and protect yourself from people who were pretty exploitative in the past. Your goals and your conscious awareness, the best that can be accomplished at present is the Nine of Stones, tradition. And Nine of Pentacles, this is also someone who is absolutely abundant, who is one with the earth around them, who is independent, you know, emotionally, physically. This is someone who is definitely upholds tradition, their own values and beliefs, who wants to care for and nurture everything around them that they love in order to build a peaceful and beautiful environment. Tradition is very important to Pentacles, to Stones, because they're very grounded people, so they understand that it's not just the tangible that is important, but it's also the nurturing love that actually feeds that ground and the earth, you know? That's why they're very grounded. To being at peace with yourself and everything that you have, and not being in a position of want. And this is your goal. This is the best that can be accomplished, and it's an excellent goal and accomplishment to be, you know, like independent. But be careful to not just be too independent, because I see a really closed off nature, and maybe this is something that you've had to do in order to put in the work into something. It's like you're closing off and you're isolating yourself into pouring into your craft, because it seems like it is a labor of love. Nine of Arrows, Nine of Swords, dedication, because you have dedication to this, to your life path, towards your goals. And whatever goal that you're trying to meet, you know, you should love it. You should have to love it, because, you know, if you don't have that love and passion and drive for something, it's not going to sustain you. But when you do find that labor of love, you feel kind of chained to it, and you find your destiny and your life path, the thing that you're drawn to do. And once you are aligned with that, you feel chained to it. But that's kind of your karma. That's what you're supposed to be able to achieve in this lifetime. This is going towards your North Node and finding your Rahu, that just because you hit snags within it, it's something that you feel that you have to do, that you're meant to do within this lifetime. But this is also can be, on top of dedication, this can be also trapped by your own self-limiting beliefs, fears, subconscious fears, anxieties, and feelings of self-mental anguish as well. But even though you're going through all of this trouble and this conflict, like, you're willing to stay within it. But how are you blocking yourself off? You feel blocked off, actually, maybe because maybe whatever path you decided to go down, you didn't realize it would be as hard as it was, but you feel like now that you're going towards this path, you already put so much time and energy into it. It's like you wouldn't want it to be wasted time, but you'd have to ask yourself if it's the right thing for you. Is it just because you put in so much time and effort into it already, so you feel like you have to stay the course because of your ultra dedication and your being tied to it? Or is it because you are doing something that you love, and that alone is that alone is something that makes you feel tied to it? And even though you don't have like the tangible results of it yet, it's something that you love and you're still willing to build skill onto it. It's something that makes you feel centered and grounded and one with the divine. And you feel like it was karmic, that this is your karmic path. And I feel like it is, even though like sometimes you second guess yourself. You see yourself as Seven of Stones, healing, unhealed. Maybe whatever path that you feel like you're going down, you feel like maybe you're not good enough in some way, or you're questioning your abilities. You're questioning like how, if you are like a spiritual healer, or you're trying to become more of an expert on whatever craft that you're trying to go down, anything with medical healing or service to humanity. You feel like, well, if I'm unhealed, how can I heal anybody else? Maybe I'm not good enough. This is like self-torture. This is internal conflict. This is rumination. But you know, this is how you see yourself, but these are also your personal strengths and weakness, and an individual perspective of you. If you see yourself as unhealed, maybe it's not a weakness, but also your strength. That maybe after all of this pain and turmoil and feelings of being isolated and rejected and put in really abusive or heavy situations and unexpected situations, unbalanced situations, you feel you learn from that and you evolved from that. And when you learn from it, you gain a spiritual knowledge. It's also something that you could also teach, because as a healer, the reason why healers go within their craft or field, or the occult, or the spiritual life, is because they're going through traumatic things. Usually with Scorpios, they have a lot of karma built up within this lifetime, whether you're a sun, moon, or rising. Mainly, your moon and rising, but well, maybe an overall. And whenever you see like descriptions of Scorpio, then you would see them as kind of as karma, as tortured souls, as those that would like but I've heard it described by one astrology reader. It's esoteric, but he's dope. But then he described Scorpio as like someone who brings out the poison within people and in the environment and brings it to the surface so it can be healed. Usually when people get involved with Scorpios, they feel this sense of like mysteriousness, or maybe even being unsure of what to make of them, that they are so much in the gray area that they can't really read you all that well. And you tend to mull up a lot of insecurities and pains within other people, and this is really on an unconscious level. It's like, have you ever noticed that people would have a kind of a strong reaction to you, or tend to accuse you of things that, that you didn't even do, but it seems like the society's prevalence to just blame you for stuff, but it's because you bring out an insecurity from them, and I believe it is your energy, because it is kind of karma on top of it. I mean, it's life, death, it's the eighth house, it's the unknown, it's the secrets, it's the things that are hidden. And a lot of times within each individuals, if you're bringing that out of people, you make people insecure, you make them feel kind of nervous or anxious, and they don't even understand why that they have that feeling, and you don't even understand why they have that feeling either. But there's a reason for it, because you have a spiritual path within this lifetime. When you have Scorpio in your main charts, you had a certain karma within this life to develop it and to go through the actions and the situations that you had in order to hone your skill. And unfortunately, the way that universe goes about it on a mass scale, if you don't seek it individually, is by trauma, and it starts off with trauma, because that's the only way to push someone into the darkness and to the deep, as if they're already there. And you would have a lot of people who would be like, they would upsell all of their gifts and their skills, or as a way of ego based, or even embellish a lot when it comes to that. And they want to play within the spiritual and occult world, which this is what it is. They're like, oh yeah, I don't believe in witches, I don't believe in spirituality, yet they're reading tarot cards. Like, dude, this is the occult. This is what it is. This is divination. This is, this is what it is. You can't do one without the other, and and you can't reconcile. You would have to reconcile that fact, We went through hard things. I'm a Scorpio rising, life past 7. It's made to reject us. It's made to isolate us. So we are forced to go within. And that's why you would find the Scorpios to be they're damn insightful. They're damn, because we live in the deep. We live in the deep, in the darkness. That's where we dwell, So they have that sense of kind of people around you have that kind of second sense of that. I've heard also people would describe Scorpio as a pawn, because you would have the Cancer is considered the ocean, the Pisces is considered the lake, and the Scorpio would be considered, a stream. Pisces is a stream, and Scorpio is the lake. Now, if you think about a lake, it's deep, it's dark, and it's unfathomable how deep a lake could go. And there's not a lot of visual or a sight, as when you look down, it's all muddy and dark that you can't see what's really below you. It's that darkness that you dwell. But that's where also, within that darkness, you seek the light. When you are in that darkness, you seek the light, and you also draw out the darkness in other people. And a lot of times people aren't prepared for that. I don't know if you've dealt with being with people and been with them in a certain kind of way, maybe relationship wise, and you end up breaking up, and you know, but before that, they end up learning such a ridiculous truth about themselves, and you learn a ridiculous truth about themselves, that their life kind of just falls apart afterwards. Because it's like you're like bringing out all of that poison, and you're reflecting it back to them so they could see that as well, in order for them to heal that too, you know. I would say that a lot about Capricorn too, about Saturn. And I think when you have Vedic sidereal, it's they don't really factor in Pluto anyway, but it's an interesting concept. But as I was saying, I was rambling. You don't have to be 100% healed to be able to go after things that would make you happy. You don't have to be 100% healed to have someone love you, or, you know, or to be in a loving, respectful relationship, or doing something that you love and getting fulfillment from it. You don't have to be 100% healed to be able to do that. In fact, nobody's ever 100% healed. Nobody. No matter how old they are, no matter how much work they do, you know, you're never going to be able to dispel any karma, because if you live day to day, you're going to interact with people, and it will build karma. There's no way we could be like a spiritual being on earth, because we'll always have that karma. It's about being able to recognize it and seeing what's in the darkness, do self-analysis, and going deep within to the dark side of yourself, and being able to draw out unconscious behaviors and beliefs that drive our life. And, you know, this is kind of what I was seeing. I was seeing this, I saw this like a meme earlier, and I was like, and I started thinking about it today right before this reading. I was like, this is probably for you, but it's on a meme anyways. But it's part of a Carl Jung and what he written about himself and the dark side, and if you do shadow work. And he says about shadow work and seeing your own dark side is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So in the end, I see that you are definitely agents of karma when it comes to that. And I believe the most spiritually gifted people are those who do a deep amount of shadow work and sees the dark side with themselves, and not shamefully to reject it, but to just acknowledge it, that it's there, in order to improve our reactions to it so it doesn't rule our life. But how is the fact that you're not fully healed from something, or you're trying to suppress or not see, how is that holding you back now? Is it fears and anxieties of you not trusting your abilities or things that you have to give to the world? Is it the fact that you feel like you had to stay protected of yourself and your energy because you felt like you were in an environment that was very detrimental and destructive to you, that it made you feel like you had to cut yourself off of everything and anything in order to build something that you didn't feel good enough to actually validate the gifts that you have now and the things that you have now? How is it that you always feel that you don't have enough, that you're not good enough, or you're not skilled enough? That how much of that you hold yourself back, and that keeps you stuck? And maybe there is a lack of healing if you see yourself as unhealed. Maybe there is, but Everybody has wounds, and all we could do is work on it, and the best that you can do is to use it to your advantage as knowledge and spiritual evolution to help people learn how to pull themselves out of the dark, because we know when you got that Mars energy, we've had so many ups and downs, we had so many unexpected endings and beginnings, and that's something that we had to learn, and that's something that we had to build on and create a skill in. And maybe you could use some of this skill and address it to whatever you're trying to build, of your resilience, of being able to soldier on no matter with what, like by your sheer will. And even if you were damaged or broken or sore or bleeding, you would still be able to soldier through. But sometimes it's not just sheer will and strength that holds you back, it's your internal, that internal turmoil that does. Maybe it's just the alignments that you feel stuck. And maybe this is something to factor in. You're trying to control something, and the harder that you're trying to push, and that's good. You want to be resilient, but you don't want to push against the alignments, because you can't. You're just gonna, maybe you'll have to wait until Mercury retrograde. Maybe you'll have to wait until there's a better alignments while you're putting the work in, but you don't want to torture yourself in the meantime and feel stuck and burdened until you get that thing or that path or that goal. Maybe it's a need to change your perspective in something. And maybe the perspective is seeing that you are gifted, and you don't have to torture yourself constantly with not feeling good enough just because the people around you did that to you for so long that it became a habit as well. Of course, we could always improve on ourselves and our skills every day, but you don't want to hold yourself back. You want to do the thing that you love and do in order to become better at it and feel more confident at it. And anything that you do new is going to feel shaky, but I know you like that tradition and stability. You like knowing where things are going, what's going to happen, because we Scorpio area, we have that control aspect, you know. We like to be able to direct things. We like to know where we're going because it makes us feel secure. But how is that idea holding you back in some way too? The feeling of needing to be secure and not going towards the things that you love because of that lack of security. Maybe you tend to close yourself off from things that don't make you feel secure, but then if you don't expose yourself to the things that don't make you feel secure, you never really grow. And maybe this is a fear of intimacy as well, a fear of attachment, of getting attached to people or relationships that sometimes your fears and insecurities kind of makes you close off to them. Because there's that lack of healing within it. And it's like that same attitude, this inner critic, you know, like you hear that parent or that teacher that kind of demeans you, or that sibling or that bully in your head, you know, or that one person or those couple of people who wanted to talk shit about you or whatever you're trying to do to let you tear that down. And it's a stark need to be so independent because you are working on something. You're building your craft, something that you love, and maybe you're afraid that somebody would come around to ruin that, because you do tend to get emotionally like when you get emotionally unbalanced, you tend to rear off from what you need to do, or sometimes you totally avoid it completely too. But you don't want to be destabilized. Eight of Arrows, struggle. How other people see you. They see you as struggling, Scorpio. You know, maybe you're going through a career change or a job change, maybe a job loss, and you're starting your own business, or, you know, like maybe you've been out of work for a really long time due to this whole situation, and you're just trying to make ends meet, and you're trying to build something new from it as a result, and you're having trouble with your self-confidence and your own skills and your own gifts. And you're starting to wonder, how am I holding myself back? And people see you as struggling. Maybe you are doing it out on your own. You're definitely single. If you're a single parent or just single on your own, like who had a job loss for a while, you're trying to conserve your energies and everything that you have. And you're kind of isolating yourself because of it, because maybe you have trouble asking for help. And I get that. I mean, I get that, but maybe there's a need to. If you're able to, I mean, I don't know. I have a trouble with that too, so I'm not gonna judge. Your hopes and fears of attaining the goal is the Page of Vessels, is the Otter. You're going through something, Scorpio, and that's why they could see you as struggling. Maybe you are going through a job loss and having trouble with finding something new. Maybe you just got out of something like a traumatic experience or a relationship change, and right now you're just trying to keep your head down and trying to pull yourself back together, but you're still feel like you're in your head. Don't worry, it's the alignment, Scorpio. Just be diligent and working. When Saturn comes around, like, you know, Saturn will make its transits as well, and to be able to it could bring gifts depending on your chart, but with anything Saturn gives, and I believe, Scorpio, it should fare well with the whole Saturn movements and the whole Saturn transits for you. But with anything that you're trying to build, Saturn favors resilience and patience and effort. You hope to give some kind of offer or to get some kind of like token of validation or attention, or give this to somebody. Maybe open up a communication or get some kind of communication, because you feel like you're you feel like you need some kind of proof that you're doing okay, that it's okay. But since you never really got that, you're kind of feeling kind of meekish when you don't get it, you know? I mean, the Otter is sweet. You know, he's very family oriented, you know? He can be empathic. There can be a young child that you're dealing with as well, a young water child. that you're dealing with, that you love, that you're trying to remain balanced and work on day to day. Maybe it's okay to lighten yourself up and not be so heavy as well, and to force yourself to enjoy yourself throughout so many hours of the day. How are you keeping yourself locked up and kind of closed off to experiences? Maybe you do. I'm not even saying maybe, but maybe you've been on your own so long that you kind of feel like that this is the way it's going to be, even though you hope for like some kind of show of affection or love or give that to somebody else. Maybe the need for it is in some way hindering as well. That because you don't get it, you feel like thrown off balance because you still are a bit unsure of yourself and your skills, that you need that outside validation in order to feel okay that you're doing well. The outcome which you will gain for the experience, the reward, the Queen of Vessels. This is emotional fulfillment. This is someone being emotionally empathetic and happy, and your cup is filleth over. This is someone sees you as the Queen of Vessels, or you see a Queen of Vessels that you want to go towards and give an offer to, that you feel matches your energy. And if you're there, somebody sees you as like definitely someone that could emotionally fulfill them, someone who's deeply empathetic, someone who listens to their deeply intuitive and is able to read people. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough to offer somebody something, or to go towards something new. Or you have this fear of rejection, or you feel like you don't have enough, so you're isolating until you do. If you don't feel ready, that's okay, it's understood. Take all the time that you need. It's self-healing and development. It doesn't exactly have a time period. That's what you do all your life, and it's being able to understand that as well. Even though you feel unhealed, it doesn't mean you don't deserve love. Eight of Swords, struggle. You have a direction. You're going forward in a direction, and even if you are unhealed, you're still going forward. You still have movement, and that's what you plan to do. You're still trying to push through those blockages. Just don't beat yourself up until you get there, because it's not about the goal, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. Whoever you're on the outside, they're struggling as well too. Maybe they see you as struggling, and maybe they're not quite ready yet either. And if this is someone you want to go towards, take the time that you need when you do it. But you're still struggling. It's like they want to speak to you, but they feel stuck in doing so. You want to go towards someone, but you don't feel like you're good enough or you're healed enough in order to do so. There's a fear and anxiety that's keeping you back from doing so. But I feel like you will give an offer. Someone is going to give an offer to you. I feel like maybe you're both kind of like going through a spiritual evolution, and I feel like if you haven't met this person yet, I feel like you're going to meet somebody, and they've definitely, I feel like you have met them in passing, or you've seen them in passing, but you're definitely kind of scared to go towards each other because maybe you both went through traumatic experiences, and I feel like there is a karmic partnering in the works. And whoever's afraid to approach you and they've been watching you, they're going to come and give you some kind of offer because they want to work with you. Or you want to work with someone if you've been watching someone and you've been holding yourself back because maybe you did get out of something heavy, and I feel like you're going to get out of your head in order to go towards them, or they're going to come towards you, but you both have a lot of similar traits and paths, and you've had a lot of similar experiences. So I feel like there will be a really big understanding between the two. What's underneath is boredom. What you don't see is boredom. Huh. Interesting. It's Mercury retrograde. Be careful that you don't go rushing into something out of boredom, or you don't go seeking out supply from past people because of boredom, or somebody doesn't come towards you because of boredom. Maybe you've been isolated on your own for so long that you find yourself ruminating and fantasizing about people on the outside as a way to cure this boredom, because maybe before it was to break up the monotony, but how is that a way, when you ask yourself when it comes to boredom, if you're seeking a goal and you start ruminating on things, you have to ask yourself, what is it that you're trying to avoid when you do that? Because usually when we ruminate or we focus on outside things, it's usually a way to take the focus off of us and our problems and the things that we can do and should do to try to alleviate those problems. But maybe it's kind of like an avoidance thing now. It's because you're pushing through, you're trying to be resilient, you're trying to keep balance and build skill. You're not getting a lot of validation for that, so be careful of trying to go towards somebody for new validation, or somebody's going to come towards you for validation because of boredom. Because that could lead you to problems, that could throw you off balance too, because there is a lack of being unhealed, and it is going to be Mercury retrograde and it's Venus retrograde, and it's going to be Mercury retrograde. You might have some karmic connections coming your way that it might be important to keep your eye out for, that you don't rush into anything because of boredom. Because instead, maybe you should refocus on your energy a bit more on the things that you're kind of avoiding, and which is leaving you unhealed. It's like an avoidance of the things that maybe there's a need to put more work on, instead of trying to find outside sources to take that focus off of yourself. Because being alone is needed. I feel like the divine has put you in a place to be on your own, to put in the work into something, because maybe there's something that you do need to work on, and you don't want to fill it up with a bunch of good distractions. And which isn't even on the long-term good, it's like on the short-term good, because sometimes those distractions could bring a lot more trouble than it can bring, benefits to your life. Oh, wow, look at all that. I don't know, but it fell upward. Jesus Christ, there's so much. No. This is getting too long anyway. I was rambling. Holy shit, it's 44 minutes. I didn't even realize I had a check. Advice, advice, advice. So, hold back. The strategy that you had in the past, I would say, is a good strategy. You're meant to be on your own to build this skill, as in to gather knowledge. And this is a gathering period. Stay dedicated to your path. You're going to come in contact with some karmic partners. And people that you've had past life experiences, soul tie with. It's a time of community. Maybe you're going to meet your soul tribe. Someone who is definitely has protection, as you do. Yes. You're going to meet a soulmate. It's going to be a coming together, a celebration, but it's because, you know, maybe meet even your soul family. But you're going to come into a community of people who reflect your kind of shared beliefs. Your dedication to your path will lead you to the door of spirit. You are protected. Even throughout your struggle, know you were protected this whole time. You know, don't push yourself too much. Take the time out and rest when needed. You were guided out of a high conflict situation by protection of your angels. You have a lot of guides around you, and they do too. Whoever you're meeting is deeply intuitive. This overthinking and is like not good for you. It's actually causing you anxiety. It's time to get out of anxiety, because it's like I know it's like, oh, stop being anxious. It's like, oh yeah, can anyone stop being anxious? No, it's like it's time to go within. The thinking man, you're overthinking about something, ruminating about something. You're psyching yourself out because of unhealed wounds. It's time to pull yourself out of anxiety, because love is on the way. Maybe universe brought someone within your past to help you heal each other. Look, Angel of Love on the bottom of the deck. You're going to come into a soulmate union, Scorpio. Someone you've had a lot of past lives with. You're both divinely protected and guided towards each other. And you may be bored and on your own trying to put work into your craft, but somebody, I feel like you're going to come in contact with someone deeply intuitive and someone who has a lot of passion for you. But that's what I got for you, Scorpio. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Donation box below if you feel moved to do so. This ran long. I don't know if I'm going to post it. Maybe I'll give it as a bonus. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.